Where we started to talk about disability rights and inclusivity of it, and that was the beginning of Enable Lanka Foundation. Closer to 9% of our population had some form of a disability, and out of that total, 57% was actually females. So now this is a daunting number, and we have to actually look at this and see what we've been doing about it. Try to look at disability in a very medical angle. So sometimes you want to really help someone, but you are really worried, will I do it right? Do I know how to actually know? Once you realize this is an identity and this is a part and parcel of our social strata, you realize that these are humans, these are people with equal rights and also responsibilities. And we have to treat them like that and not like some form of a charity or some social service. The minute you look at them in that angle, that's where you if you are ready to accept that, I think we easily, create a very inclusive environment.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of 30 Plus. So joining us today is Crystal Reed Vijay Surya. So Crystal is actually the co-founder of the Enable Lanka Foundation. Hi Chris, nice to have you with us this evening.
Hi Maria, thank you for having me here today.
Thank you so much for joining us and getting together with the rest of the 30 Plus group. So we'd really like to talk about your foundation and the work that you do through the foundation to help women with different disabilities. So starting off, shall we just talk about how you, how you got the idea of the Enable Lanka Foundation and why you really went about to creating this foundation?
Right. So Enable Lanka Foundation was actually established 6 years ago when I met one of the co-founders, Janitha Rukmal. So him and I both volunteered at a similar program, and then we started to talk about inclusion, because for him inclusion came in about through his disability, whereas for me, because I'm a minority of this country, well, I felt that exclusion. So I guess that's where we started to talk about disability rights and inclusivity of it, and that was the beginning of Enable Lanka Foundation. And about the foundation, to talk about it, the volunteers with us, we are all from different fields, working fields, different practices. The idea was to bring about different people from professions together so that we can talk about our workspaces, our environment, and try and make it more inclusive, because that's what we are talking about when it comes to inclusion, right? So I guess that's how we started off with the foundation.
So it's like a holistic team. I think I was going through your website as well, and I saw that there is quite a big team, right? It's a good balance between male and female as well from different areas, right? So is there any way that viewers and people who are interested can actually join you to sort of work on these projects with you? Is that an option for us?
Yes, definitely. You can get in touch with us through our website. That's www.enablelanka.org. Of course, you can call you guys up on the 30 Plus page, like them, and then our contacts will be with them.
Okay, so Chris, just getting into some of the projects that you all really do right now, something that we really want to touch on is that women with disabilities are like any of us. We all have career aspirations, we all have dreams, we have goals. But the setting in our social setting is such that maybe women with disabilities don't have as much opportunity as they should, right? And I know that most of the work that you do is actually revolving around this concept, where you all try to enable these women to actually have a career, to follow their dreams and follow their goals. So can we talk a little more about that and the type of projects that you all do to really help these women with different abilities?
Right. So to start off with, I'll quickly just touch upon a few statistics, because back in 2012, when the Census and Statistics Department put out the report, it said closer to 9% of our population had some form of a disability, and out of that total, 57% was actually females. So now this is a daunting number, and we have to actually look at this and see what we've been doing about it, right? And then having said that, of course, over the past few years, we have come so far as a country. Inclusion and equity has been a topic around, especially in the corporates as well. But having said that, there's so much we could do, right? So one good thing about this pandemic is, I don't know whether it's a good thing, but I see this as an opportunity, especially for women who have disabilities who are trying to get into the workspace. This is something they've been requesting for, which is remote working and flexible work hours, which the corporate sector has been saying no to, neglecting, giving excuses.
Until the pandemic.
Exactly. And with less than 3 months time, they managed to create the flexible working hours, give them all the resources. So this, I think, is a wonderful opportunity. Of course, it's a crisis, I understand, but we all need to evolve and to learn and adapt to this whole situation.
Make the most of the situation.
Exactly, that's what. So having said that, with this opportunity, a project that we started off is called Kanta, where we are looking at supporting women with disabilities to start up their own ventures, or someone who's already, who have aspired it, for them to give the resources, the business acumen, and try and connect them with the networks that we have, right? So when I talk about these ventures, we look at it in 3 different ways. One is it could be a venture that is spearheaded by someone who has a disability. The other could be where they are hiring or employing women who have disabilities. Or it could be a business where you're kind of providing a product or a service to someone who has a disability, right? So we try to talk to our networks, tap into our donors, do grants and proposal on behalf of these organizations. So these are some of the things that we've been doing. So far we have completed 1 project in the Putlam district. Now we have moved to Nigambo, which is the second project.
Okay.
So we're very excited about it. So that's kind of where we are supporting women with disabilities right now to make them economically, empowered.
That's good. So, do you all link up with? You did mention that you all do link up with different organizations to give them a platform, right? Is that my process of thought
Yes,
is
that's
correct?
right. That's right.
Okay. So, are you in a sort of a position to talk about these companies and the organizations that give us this platform?
I'm not sure whether I'm allowed to mention names, but having said that, there have been quite a number of organizations that we've been trying to work around, because all of our projects and the businesses that we try to do with these women, we try to link them up with organizations that would have similar values and kind of a structure. Okay. So for an example, one of the our first project was more on a sewing unit. So we approached one of the largest apparel manufacturers. We helped them get the machines that required, which was almost like a $3 to $4 million project. Rupee project, okay. And we managed to kind of get it going. Right. So having said that, another organization which is heavily working on this is a multinational organization, because globally one of their value systems are about inclusivity of women with disabilities and people in general. So we have been doing a lot of sensitization programs with them and other advocacy programs as well. So that's where we stand right now.
So Chris, something else that we really want to touch and elaborate on is that we realize that in our social setting, disabilities, women or people with disabilities, it's not a topic that many individuals really openly talk or discuss about, right? So it's actually a very hushed up topic, but it's a topic that we should really talk about and really focus on and put some energy into this, right? So can you just share some of your experiences with regards to this topic?
Sure. So Maria, to be very honest, it's actually for the past 6 years, what has happened is, and what I've experienced is, it's mainly the attitude. And it's that, the conventional setting that we've been brought up. And when we talk about disability, the taboo and the stigmatization, that's what's actually have come out mostly. Yeah. And people feel more sympathetic than empathy over them, right? So having said that, the other problem is that this is something we always talk about. We try to look at disability in a very medical angle. So sometimes you want to really help someone, but you are really worried. Will I do it right? Do I know how to actually assist them? Well, for me personally, it was a trial and error period as well. I was learning throughout this journey, trying to learn about different types of disabilities. So once you realize this is an identity and this is a part and parcel of our social strata, you realize that these are humans, these are people with equal rights and also responsibilities. And we have to treat them like that and not like some form of a charity or some social service. The minute you look at them in that angle, that's where you kind of exclude them from the society. So for me, I would say the biggest learning journey is change of my own attitude and trying to help especially the caregivers and the people around them to understand that these people go beyond it. It's just like any other thing. It's our identity. It's like our name. It's like a race. It's like any other thing. Yeah. So once you are ready to accept that, I think we easily, create a very inclusive environment.
Nice to know. So that's something, a lot of us can really learn from, because as you very rightly said, yes, the initial thought is yes, that it's a medical
condition.
Exactly. But like when you really go to think of it and really deep dive into it, they're individuals just like you and me, right?
Correct.
They have the same needs, they have the same wants. It's just that they don't really have the platform and the access to maybe achieving what they really want. So Chris, you mentioned earlier that as a foundation you all do work with caregivers to really give them the exposure, to talk to them, work with them and give them the exposure and the help that they need. So to the audience and to whoever's listening, if there are parents and caregivers who actually want to learn more about this, to learn more about children, women with disabilities, can they really reach out to you and through the organization, through us, maybe through the 30 Plus platform, they can maybe reach out to you and get in touch with you? Is that an option?
Definitely it's an option. Because Maria, thank you for bringing this up, because one thing, like I was talking about the attitudes of the caregivers and etc., one thing that we strongly push for is inclusive education, and this is something we've been talking to them about, somehow get them to the mainstream education system without trying to exclude them. Of course there are situations that you have to do that, but having said that, there's so much of support available. We have a good network, and even medical practitioners who are our own members. So we can definitely link through your Facebook page 30 Plus and look at how we can collaborate and help these children, because also the reason behind it is because out of the 10.6% of children with disabilities, 10.2% do not actually attend any education. So it's once again a very scary number, and we talk so much about education, and we have to do our bit. And then from Enable Lanka Foundation, the little that we could do is to ensure we help you to find that platform, and I'm sure we'll be able to find some sort of synergy and be able to help all these children out there.
So that's really good. Maybe we can link up on that too, and sort of share the links through our Facebook page. Right, so that wraps up our episode with Crystal here today. Thank you so much, Chris, for being with us and really helping us to talk about, a taboo subject such as this. I'm pretty sure that all of the information and the points you really brought up were quite valuable to people who are actually listening. It was actually very educational for me as well. So thank you so much for taking time off. I'm pretty sure very busy schedule to really be with us and help us on this venture.
Thank you so much for having me with you.
It's a pleasure. So that wraps it up from our side. So don't forget to subscribe to our 30 Plus channel and like us on Facebook to see more videos and more discussions that we've had on similar topics such as this. Thank you.